What's up, Juggalos? Wickit Clown Reviews here. I'm going to be reviewing every single EP and LP released by Psychopathic Records in chronological order. And up next, we have Forgotten Freshness Volumes 1 and 2. So, we've already done the first Forgotten Freshness, and this was released kind of... The original Forgotten Freshness was done more as... kind of an exclusive for fans, specifically Michigan fans, and it was kind of an underground release of just rare shit. This was intended to be more of a mainstream release of the most of those same rare songs and then a bunch of additional tracks, because at this point, you know, ICP had released Great Malenko and they were getting huge success, and so this was kind of a chance to please both old and new fans with a fat double disc compilation that has gone down in history as, you know, probably the best ICP compilation album they've ever done. I mean, this thing is as good as some of the albums. I mean, I know a lot of people who it's their favorite ICP album just in general. It even was certified gold. Like, a compilation album being certified gold over, you know, like Carnival of Carnage and shit, that is super crazy. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to go over kind of, you know, some of the songs that aren't featured, like what's new on this album. And then afterwards, I'm going to compare all the different CD pressings, of which there are a surprising amount. So as you see in the booklet, what's cool about this is it gives you a little history of each song, why it was removed, what it was recorded for, and why it's included on this compilation, and it's kind of just a fun overview of things. And yeah, you know, like I already said, this is one of the greatest compilation albums they ever put out. But, you know, when you get down to the nitty gritty of it all, there's not much new on this album. And, you know, I think it's kind of funny because nowadays, oh geez, I don't even know how to fold this properly. Nowadays yeah, that's not right. Nowadays, whenever ICP releases a compilation, you know, people tend to get mad that it's like shit they already have heard. And it's just another example of people getting mad at ICP for shit they've always done. I mean, if you look at the track listing on this, there are only 2 songs that have not been released in some other capacity at this point. And they are Willy Bubba, which was, the booklet says it was recorded for the Riddle Box, but they decided not to put it on there, but they considered it for Malenko. I don't know. I feel like that might be a mistake. The production just sounds too good for Riddle Box. Maybe it's Tunnel of Love era, but to me this sounds like Malenko through and through. But, you know, what do I know? And it's not like this was that long after. You know, I know ICP forget things, you know, after like 20 plus years, but I don't know, the production just sounds too good. And the other new song is Piggy Pie, the old school version, which is technically not even a new song. So, you know, normally I go through every single track and talk about it, but in this case I've already talked about almost every song, so we're really just gonna cover the songs that I haven't talked about yet. And you know, it's important to note too, like, the original Forgotten Freshness disc 1 is not Forgotten Freshness the OG version. In fact, a lot of the songs on the OG version didn't even make it on here. Most of the Dog Beats tracks, like Life at Risk, and oh god, what's the other one? God, why the fuck can't I remember it? Ghetto Zone, and also Ask You Something. Those 3 tracks did not make it on here for whatever reason. They should have been on here. There's room for them, but, you know, I guess they already had enough songs. And, you know, some of these weren't even on the other one. Basically, this is a completely new volume 1 and 2. It's not like a repackaged of the first one and then they added a disc. It's a completely new album on its own. So yeah, Willy Bubba. So Willy Bubba is super fucking awesomely fun track about, you know, Willy Bubba the redneck and you know, beating his ass because they've been down with the clown since day one, and it's day two. And it's a really, really fun, goofy kind of song that's it's in the vein of Chicken Huntin', the original mix, where it's just a country song about killing rednecks. Really fun, really chantable, excellent verses, great samples. It's a fantastic song, honestly, and really one of the best. So not new in general, but something I haven't talked about is I Didn't Mean to Kill Him. This was featured on the Chicken Huntin' single, kind of the disc version specifically. And I made a short about it, but I didn't dive into each individual song. I Didn't Mean to Kill Him is a really funny, goofy song about, you know, where Violent J keeps accidentally killing his friend. And I really love it. I especially love, you know, the phone call Violent J does where he's like, "This is Jimmy. I'm not dead. I gotta go." Like, it really makes me laugh. And the chorus is super catchy. The "Didn't mean to kill him, baby." It's just classic old school ICP. And then, yeah, everything else we have discussed. So, another one I'll touch on, the Hocus Pocus Headhunters remix. You know, I made a reel about this, but it was more just comparing all the different versions of the single. I gotta say, man, I am not a fan of the Headhunters remix. I think it's okay. It's fine. It's not bad. But I really hate how it kind of became the standard Hocus Pocus. It was used in the music video. When ICP plays the song live, they always do the Headhunters remix, unless it's on a album-specific tour, like when they did the Malenko tours twice. But yeah, I think that the remix is mediocre as fuck. It is nowhere near as good as the original album version with those carnival tones, and like the slow beat works so much better with their vocals rather than like the kind of more upbeat version that's on here. Yeah, just Headhunters remix. It's often a skip for me. I just really prefer the original Hocus Pocus. Let's see, Mr. Rotten Treats, Piggy Pie Old School. So it's kind of a demo version of the original Piggy Pie. You can hear that there's no overdubs on it, and you know, the production isn't quite as, you know, solidly mastered. However, Shaggy's verse on this is completely different, and it's more directed at cops instead of a judge, and it's phenomenal. It's really, really good. And Violent J's two verses, they're you know, a little more violent, and the lyrics were changed on the other version just because the record company thought it was too violent. But I'm not gonna lie, I prefer the album version because a lot of the lines are just more fun. Like instead of bounced off his head and slammed his nuts in the gate, bounced off his head and did a Jackie Chan over the gate. That's awesome. And yeah, so the perfect Piggy Pie would be Jay's original verses from Malenko and then Shaggy's verse from this one. Although I do love Shaggy's other verse where he says, "Racked on the bucket, made it fucking rain pork rinds." So, you know, they're both good. Yeah, and yeah, everything else I've discussed on this channel in one way or another. So if you want my thoughts, go check out those videos. So yeah, in terms of next, we're going to go through all of the different CD pressings. So this one here, it's a promotional copy of a first printing. So promo copies were always stamped. I don't have a normal version of the first printing, actually. And then they put a hole through the barcode right here. And yeah, the classic way of telling the first printings is always, it says made in the USA by PMDC. A lot of for Malenko, Forgotten Freshness, and Jekyll Brothers, Island Records copies always have that. And yeah, you can see here, it hints at the next Joker's cards. So yeah, essentially a first pressing is going to look just like this, just without the stamp. And then I recently discovered for this video that I actually, I thought this was a first pressing, but I was mistaken. It turns out I have had a German copy this whole time. I was looking at the disc, refreshing myself, and it said made in Germany. And, you know, you can see the difference of the discs themselves. You can see where the inner ring is more solid, and the way light reflects on it, it's a different tone. And the original version is much more holographic. So yeah, crazy. I wasn't even aware I had a German pressing until I went to make these videos. And here's the dead giveaway that I should have realized, because this type of label is on the other Euro pressings. But you see the compact disc is completely different. And then the coloration, slightly different as well on the spines and stuff. And you can see the serial number here. It's completely different, but it still says Psychopathic Island Records on the side. And yeah, the photo itself is a little more defined on the German version. Look at how much more detail you can see. It's kind of crazy. I never questioned it. And yeah, once I was doing this video, I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know. Yeah, and so up next, what do we got? This is a CRC pressing. So this is a Columbia Record Club pressing. You can see disc 1 here. Disc 2 there. And once again, the inner ring is a lot different than the standard pressings. You can see. And the serial number information too, under the Made in the USA, is completely different. And then let's see what else. Yeah, the barcode, you can see it's different there. And then the serial number on the side as well. I'm just going to leave out that standard version so I can compare the rest of them to it. This is one of the coolest ICP CDs I have. So this is a CRC version as well. Well, maybe not ICP CDs, but it's one of the coolest Forgotten Freshnesses I have. And here's the deal. It looks just like a normal CRC, right? But if you look, the second disc is also fucking yellow. This is crazy to me because, like, these are really hard to find, but they're not particularly, like, rare. See, here's the other CRC. You can see. Boom, CRC. But yeah, they're very difficult to find, but kind of something that low-key a lot of juggalos don't know about. And the guy who sold it to me didn't know. I didn't know when I bought it. I was just looking for a CRC copy. And when I opened it, I initially thought I had 2 disc 1s. And I was about to message him saying that I got the wrong thing, but then I looked and it says volume 2. And I did some research, and yeah, it turns out they made 2 different CRC pressings. And yeah, so I highly recommend, if you like variants, searching for this one, because it's probably my favorite variant of the Forgotten Freshness Volume 1 and 2 out there. So this is a BMG pressing. And the BMG pressing, the disc is a little more even shimmery than the other ones. And then it says for BMG Direct right there. And that's kind of how to tell if the discs are matching or not. Yeah, same deal before. All the booklets are the same, have the same info. Yeah, again, the barcode's different. And then let's take a look at all the spines so far. You can see kind of color variations, the German one being the brightest. And the BMG has the same serial number. These are the 2 CRCs right here. And all say Psychopathic Island. And yeah, German version is the lightest for sure. And the final version I have, this is the one released by Psychopathic Records. So the interesting thing about Forgotten Freshness is it's the only album released under Island that ICP actually owned their own rights to and licensed out to Island. To this day, Island owns Great Milenko, Jekyll Brothers, and both Bizarre albums. ICP does not have the rights to that. But they do for Forgotten Freshness, and that's why there aren't as many printings. They did their initial run, and then, you know, shortly after, it was only 2 years later, ICP would leave the label. So Island really didn't get the opportunity to print out a lot, but they printed enough for it to go gold. And yeah, so the psychopathic versions overall much brighter than all the other versions. You can see there. And instead of island, it's got a fat psychopathic. It's got a little bit bigger of a Hatchaman, released in 2005. And it's got a PSY number instead of the island records. It's got a brand new barcode. And the cover is brighter and more colorful, but more obscured too. You can even see less detail. Like, remember how the German version had even more than this? Well, this is definitely the most obscured version, but it's still really cool. It says Wicked Clowns in the cover. And I do like too, they didn't put the 2-disc label so you can actually see the Wicked Clowns clearly. And this was the first CD I ever got signed by ICP. And you can see it has a solid ring, unlike the others. It's a little melted here from playing it in my CD player. But yeah, I got this signed at the 2008 Gathering of the Juggalos. It was the first time I met them. And it was pretty cool. Shaggy and I had the most awkward handshake ever, but it was cool. And he told me to go see Twisted that night. And yeah, it was, kind of a plain, simple conversation, but a good interaction. And Violent J, he signed it Violent J, ICP, Wicked Clowns. And yeah, I was really young and I got overwhelmed meeting Violent J and like just telling him how much their music means to me. And, Violent J was a little caught off guard, but he handled it well. And yeah, I've met them many more times since and have had much better interactions. But this is a very nostalgic thing for me because, yeah, it's just remembering that first time and, couldn't handle it as a young teenager, but it was pretty funny. Great Malenko here is red instead of purple, and then all the graphics look much better. And then you got the 5th Joker's card hype. But yeah, this was the last time Forgotten Freshness would be released. It has yet to get a reprinting. And, these CDs, you can normally find them for like $25 or so. Certain copies are more expensive. But there are other versions as well, Canadian and Australian, and I believe UK. And, but yeah, that's all that I've got, Juggalo. So let me know what you think down below of Forgotten Freshness Volume 1 and 2. Pretty fucking iconic if you ask me. Definitely the best Forgotten Freshness. I mean, all of these tracks are fucking great. There's really not a dud on here aside from the Headhunters remix. All right, so next week, Juggalos, is going to be the amazing Jekyll Brothers, the 5th fucking Joker's card, An album I love, but I'm not going to lie, I've maybe got some controversial opinions about it, but, it's still a masterpiece. All right, Juggalos, see you next week. Whoop, whoop.